doesn't pour as fast as water, but it pours faster than oil. I don't know if that made sense. It made sense in my head, like, and I wrote it down in my notes, but like saying it out loud, it just kind of sounds a little bit weird. Welcome back to Pink Sugar Soapery. I'm Sarah, and today we are going through and explaining common ingredients in soap making. Today, more specifically, bath bombs. Let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so as you obviously know, because you saw the title of this video and you clicked it, which I thank you for, by the way, we are going through common ingredients that you can find in bath bombs and or other handmade bath and body products. We're going to go over their purposes and if they're easy to find, what form they come in, just kind of all the little kind of details about each ingredient. Now, for this, I am using my own recipe. You may follow or may see recipes that have different ingredients in them that I didn't cover here. I'm happy to cover them down in the comments below after the video is posted. So if you're like, you know what, I keep seeing glycerin in this bath bomb recipe, what the heck is it, Sarah? Tell me all about it. Just drop it in the comments below. I could also make a part 2. Now, before we dive into our very first ingredient, can you guess which one that is? It's like the star of the show. But before we get into that first ingredient, really quickly, if you are interested, I have been transitioning my TikTok from one that's bringing customers to my website to one that is a resource for other soap makers or other handmade bath and body product business owners. In that series, I am going over fragrance oils from different suppliers. I know I've covered Candle Science. I've also got Wholesale Supplies Plus coming, Brambleberry coming. I've got a bunch of different ones. Obviously, I'm posting one every day, and I have really actually been enjoying it. It's a lot of fun. And I think it's a little bit different for me because, you know, those are so short versus the YouTube video where I'd go over fragrance oils that might be 20 minutes long. That way you get the value that you need exactly when you need it. You know, if you're like, hey, I'm looking for Caribbean Teakwood Candle Science, before I get it, let me go check out Sarah's TikTok at Pink Sugar Soapery and see what she had to say about it. I'm also talking about like different products that I would use them in and kind of stuff like that. So check that out if you haven't already. I linked it down in the comments below. And now we are really getting into these ingredients explained. All right, here it is, the star of the show. Have you figured out what it is yet? I'll give you a second. We're making bath bombs. The number one ingredient that we need there is citric acid. Citric acid is like a white granular solid. It reminds me of like little sugar granules. It's organic. It is very, very important to our bath bomb recipe. So citric acid is actually playing 2 roles in our bath bombs. First and foremost, it is giving that fizziness when it reacts with water, or any really liquid or moisture. So it's giving us that great fizziness that we love to see in a bath bomb. The main thing that people are looking for when they purchase a bath bomb is that fizziness. And the second thing is it kind of, now my husband's cutting the grass right outside the window. I mean, come on guys. Well, welcome to my life. Okay. And the secondary purpose of having citric acid in your bath bomb is that it actually works as a low-level preservative. Now, that being said, here is a very, very important caveat or disclaimer, whatever you want to call it. Just having citric acid as your preservative is not enough for a product that you may get moisture in that you would reuse later. For a bath bomb, it is enough because your bath bomb is like a one-use or a single-use product, right? So for the purposes of a bath bomb, it does work. But if you were to be making something like a sugar scrub in a tub and the person was bringing it in the shower with them and getting scooping a little bit out, scooping a little bit out, scooping a little bit out at a time and reusing that same product, right? Next time I need to exfoliate, I'm gonna grab that same jar. It's not enough of a preservative for that purpose. So yes, you can use it as a preservative for your bath bombs, but it is not enough of a preservative for something that is a multi-use product. Next up is our sodium bicarbonate, also known as baking soda. Baking soda, excellent ingredient, super easy to find. As you all know, if you've been to any grocery store, Target, Walmart, anything like that, they have baking soda, and it is very, very cheap, which is why it is such a great thing to add into your bath bomb. Baking soda is actually a member of the salt family, which is really great for a bath bomb because salts, if you're familiar with like bath salts, which we try not to call it. If you've seen this video, I explained in there why we don't like to call them bath salts. But because baking soda is a part of the salt family, it does work as a fine ingredient to soften your skin, just like a bath soak or bath salt would. When using baking soda, I always recommend to run it through like a fine mesh sieve. Is it a sieve or is it like a strainer, you know, like the fine mesh ones, because it can really easily clump, and you definitely don't want any clumps coming through in your mixing bowl. And actually, I would definitely recommend that for any solid product that comes in like a, you know, like a powdery or granular form. Cowling Clay. Now I use white, but I have seen other colors. Really, they have the same benefits. It just kind of depends on what like hue you want to mix in or what color you want to mix into the bath bombs. I love using Cowling Clay because it's very, very fine to the touch. However, if you inhale it directly, like raw, like when you're pouring it, a lot of dust can come up. It can be damaging. So you want to make sure that when you are mixing in Cowling Clay, you want to be wearing a face mask, and you know, pouring carefully and making sure that the area that you are working in is well ventilated. All right, Polysorbate 80. Okay, now this comes in like a bottle, right? And it is a liquid, but it's like a thicker liquid. I would kind of classify it somewhere between like a water type of liquid and an oil. It's kind of somewhere like the texture, the feel of it, or the pouring power of it, right? It doesn't pour as fast as water, but it pours faster than oil. I don't know if that made sense. It made sense in my head, like, and I wrote it down in my notes, but like saying it out loud, it just kind of sounds a little bit weird. I'm not entirely sure. Y'all can tell me what you think about that description. So this is an ingredient that we use in bath bombs and any other recipe where you're going to be mixing different liquids together. Okay, so for this recipe in particular, we're using rubbing alcohol, and we're also going to use apricot kernel oil, which I will talk about in just a second, right? So we have the liquid isopropyl alcohol, and then we have an oily product. So when you put those two together, much like any oil and any super liquidy liquid, they're going to not mix. What Polysorbate 80 does, and they're gonna stay separated in whatever container you have them in. So that Polysorbate 80 brings like the watery liquid up, and it brings the oily liquid down. It like thins it out and thickens this one up so they meet in the middle and then combine. I feel weird without nails. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I took my nails off because obviously I have a newborn. Well, she's not even a newborn anymore. She's exactly 4 weeks old, which is weird. Like that she's so old already. So anyway, clearly I just haven't had time, so I took them off, but that's neither here nor there. So those two, adding the Polysorbate 80 into it brings them to a more equal level where they're able to actually combine with each other versus staying, you know, mixed together but separate liquids. We have one more surfactant to talk about, and that is SLSA. I'm going to read I'm going to read the long form of it, but I don't know if I'm going to say it right. So it is sodium lauryl sulfoacetate. I think I said that right, but I could be totally wrong. So again, SLSA is a surfactant, and it comes in like the form of like a fine, again, another one of those fine powders. And we use it in bath bombs or other recipes to create like a nice bubble or a nice lather. I will say that this is another product that can be damaging if you inhale it raw. So again, I would recommend here wearing a face mask when mixing this in. All right, next and close to the end product is cream of tartar. And I tried really hard to say it normally, but if you saw my last video, the start a bath bomb business with $100, you know I cannot say it. I don't know why I can't say it regular. I just have to say it like with a weird accent that only comes out when I say that. So anyway, back to the business. This is a really great ingredient. It's a little bit harder to find than like baking soda, but you can still find it like in person at like Safeway. I know my Safeway carries it, but like my Giant, the grocery stores, don't. So it really depends. Some places you can find it, some places you can't, but Amazon always has it, you know? Amazon always has the stuff. So this again is a very fine powder. I definitely recommend sifting it. You will have some like particles flying around you in the air, but we're using it in our bath bombs for like a more silky and like luxurious feeling. Very, very nice. I just think that mixed with the bubbles from the Polysorbate 80 and the fizziness of the citric acid, that this gives it like a little oomph, if that makes sense, and just kind of makes it feel a lot more luxurious, which is always a plus. All right, our final ingredient for this video, Apricot Kernel Oil. Now, this is actually used quite a bit in different skincare products because it does have so many great skincare benefits, and it's less likely to be an allergen. I see a lot of comparison between apricot kernel oil and sweet almond oil, and, or I shouldn't say and, but some people shy away from using the almond oil because obviously a lot of people have, you know, a nut allergy. So apricot kernel oil has similar properties to the almond oil, but is less of a common allergen. So this product is great because it helps even your skin's tone, firmness, and radiance. We all want to have that like radiant, fresh look. So this ingredient, especially in our bath bombs, is how we achieve that. That was a lot of information. But luckily, if you weren't writing anything down, this video will stay on my channel obviously forever, and you can come back and check it out anytime you need. Also, let me know what ingredients you would like covered in a future episode of This Ingredients Explained. I don't know if like doing it by common product like I did today with bath bombs, or like, I don't really know. That's the only thing I can't figure out is like kind of how to organize this series that I have here. So if you have any thoughts on that, I will also take those suggestions in the comments. Don't forget to follow me over on TikTok at Pink Sugar Soapery, and check out my website that will be opening sometime this week after the major rebrand we went through. As always, I appreciate the support and a sense of community that you bring to the video every week when you stop by. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. I would love to see you back again. Until next time, bye.